Okay, ready? Working on the Landcruiser. I've either just put out a video or there's a video coming out on how to check shackle pins and bushes for wear, because today I am replacing mine on the back of the cruiser. So I'm gonna overhaul that, put all the new bushes in there. Don't know what the pin conditions of the pins are. I'm hoping they're alright because I didn't buy any. If they're pretty knackered, I'll just leave it as is, go to town, get a set of new ones. So just no mucking about, we'll just rip straight into it. Right, everybody, the first thing you want to do is get the chassis of whatever you're working on. In my case, my ute, but this could be a truck. You want to get the chassis jacked up so the wheels are off the ground. Mine are just touching because I just let it back down onto the jack stands. Lift it all the way up so the springs are at full sag, and then you stick some jack stands under it. A couple of stands there. Make sure it's nice and safe. And then I'm just going to leave this big jack here just because it's going to be extra safety, and I'll use the little car jack under the diff to lift the axle up to the right height we need to get that. But they're at full sag at the moment, so all the weight's hanging down off the axle. So I'll get a car jack and jack it up under the axle. We'll lift the springs up just enough that it takes the weight off the pins, and I'll show you what that sort of looks like once I get it to that point. Right, I've got it jacked up just enough to take the weight off the two pins. So now I'll be able to undo them and knock them out. So I'll grab a ratchet and a socket, we'll undo them, knock them out, and take a look what's going on with the pins and the bushes. So I've got the shackle pins out, so now I'm just going to get these bushes out. They shouldn't be too hard. They're just in two halves, like so. Yeah, she's a bit worn out. Other half out. There's another one. Two different sorts of bushes here. Got hardened rubber. Oh, not hardened rubber, the poly ones, polyurethane. Oh no, they're both the same. They're both polyurethane, but they look like they're a bit cheap. So that's why they're probably a bit worn out. Bit of dirt in these grooves here, which won't help to prolong the spring or the bush's life. And this one here is a bit oblonged, which was the bottom one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was the bottom one. So it's more of an oval shape, where the pin's been rubbing. It has been getting enough lube, but that's alright. We'll replace them. There's the other one from the top out. So there's the inside of the hanger and the island spring. We'll have to give them a good emery paper out. There's a lot of dirt and crap caught up in there. Get it nice and clean so the bushes don't have any trouble going in, and nothing will tear the new bushes. So I'll get that all set up and then yeah, show you the next step. Alright, just cleaned up the shackle and the pins. There's a little bit of pitting on the top one, which isn't too much of a concern because this kit that I've got comes with steel sleeves that go in the bushes. So that won't matter too much, and these are greasable as well, so that'll fill up. Bottom one has a little bit of wear on that bottom edge. I can feel there's a bit of a groove, but that'll be right to go again. I think it won't be too bad. I'm going to unclog the pins as well because I don't think they're getting grease through it properly. I think one of the grease nipples is a bit dodgy as well, so I'm going to clean them out, run some grease through them, make sure they're all nice and free so that I can grease it properly. Alrighty, I've cleaned the grease holes out, ran some new grease through it, put two new grease nipples on there. You want to make sure your grease nipples are good. If you are greasing them and you notice that grease spurts back out, the spring inside behind the little ball is usually going to be buggered, and you should put a new grease nipple on because dirt will get in. So that's all ready to go back together. So I just got to clean up the other half of the shackle. I think there's a little bit of wear on there as well, but because these come with shims in this new kit, that'll eliminate any of that slop, so that won't be a problem. So I'll clean the other bit of the shackle up, and I'll clean out the spring holes, and then I'll get the bushes out and we'll have a chat about them. Alright, so I'm back over here with the spring and the hanger. I've sprayed a bit of degreaser and then scratched out some of the crud with a screwdriver. What I've got to do now is I've got a bit of emery paper here. We're going to run them through there, get them all nice and clean. We don't want any grit or grease or any leftover dirt in there because that will wreck the new bushes. So get the emery paper in and give her a nice clean up. Alright, got them all nice and cleaned up, so they're ready for the bushes to go in. So we'll get the bushes out and we'll have a chat about them. So here's the two different bushes. So this lower one goes in your spring eye, so that's the actual spring. This one goes in the hanger, which is welded to the chassis. You can see there's a size difference, so keep that in mind, make sure you don't get it mixed up. But yeah, do the same thing, just different lengths, because the hanger is longer or wider than the spring, which is a bit shorter. So yeah, that's the two different sorts. So now we can start whacking them together. Alright, so we're whacking the hanger bushes in. So we will get them in there. There's the hanger. Now we'll grab the spring ones. They slip in nice and easy. Alrighty, so that's pretty much right for the shackle to go back on now. So we'll get ourselves prepared for that. Just realised that I made a mistake. You've got to put these shims on the inside of the bushes there. So quickly do that. Alright, so I've got those washers in there. Pretty sure that's how they're meant to go. It's the only place they can actually fit. So should be right to get the shackle in now. Lubed up the pins so that they'll slide in nice and easy, and they'll make it a bit easier when we're greasing. So now we can slip this back in. I'll have to pry this bottom spring down because I haven't got the other side apart yet, so it's up a bit high. Alright, put the back half of the shackle on. Alright, that one's all in and ready for the nuts and washers to go back on. Alright, got them done up. They're not up super tight, they're just nipped up. What I'll need to do is that when I've done the other side, I'll need to drop it on the ground, put all the weight onto the springs, and then we can tighten them up there because that's the load they'll have. So do the other side and do the fronts, and then we'll be able to tighten them up to spec once everything else is done and it's sitting on the floor with all the weight on it. I've already just taken the shackle and pins out. One of the bushes come out with it because that's how worn out she is. So I'll quickly smash all this part apart, and then I'll do the same with the shackles again. New grease nipples, clean it all up, clean out the eye of the spring, do the hanger, install it all, and then we can move on to the front section. I already just finished blacking this one together, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grease this side and the other side, and then we can jump onto the front bushes. Right, we're doing the front of the rear pins and bushes now. So on these they have this flange, you've got to undo this 12mm bolt and then undo the nut on the other side of the pin, same with the other side, and then it's basically the same, knock a pin out. I've taken the weight up off the axle on the jack, so I'll knock them out, and then it'll be a bit of a dicking around because I've got to lower the spring down past the hanger to get the bushes out. So I may need to put another jack between the spring and the chassis, or jack the chassis up even higher just to allow it to drop down, because they can be a bit of a pain in the ass. But we'll get it done. So start ripping this one apart. Alrighty, got this one out, wasn't too hard. Well, it does look like you might be able to knock these bushes out. Maybe they put a larger hole diameter for their bushes, so that's what that looks like there. Might be able to knock that bush out without having to lower the spring too far, so that could be good. On second inspection, you can't push it through that side, so I'm going to have to lower this spring down. So what I think I might be a bit easier is I might take the other pin out of the other side as well, so the axle will drop down a bit further, and then I'll go about getting the bushes out and hopefully get it done. So I'll come back to you when I've got that all sorted and I've got the bushes out. Alright, we've got this lowered down. It's been a bit of a dick around, got that giving me a hand now. We shook the wheels off so we get it lower. Had to disconnect the airbags and the shockers. And I've also disconnected the diff breather hose. My brake line's not, it's tight-ish, but not like gonna snap. So that's what you got to do to lower this front down, because you can't knock the bush through that way. So you got to get it down low enough that you can pluck them out. So Dad's just over there knocking the steel insert that goes in the middle out. I'm just pulling these ones out, and then we'll get them out, clean them up, and reassemble. Alright, I've got my side apart, and this has got the blue, looks like Super Pro polyurethane bushes in there. They're not really worn out, but I'd rather just have them all the same and chuck them all in there just to make sure. So this side's all pretty much ready to go back together. It's pretty nice and tidy in the spring still because it hasn't worn out too much. So we'll give the pin a clean up and change the grease nipple on it, make sure it's all cleared, and then I'll reassemble. And yeah, we'll be on our way. Alright, we've just got the bushes in on both sides now. Same deal as the back, got the washer and put the shim in there behind them. The only difference is you've got to put this steel insert in. It slips inside like so. That's just because the pin on the front is a smaller diameter than the ones on the rear. So you need to put this in there just to take up the gap. I'll show the difference in the Nolithane and I think the Super Pro. The Nolithane one is a complete piece of steel, no welds or nothing. This one here is just basically a bit of rolled steel with a split down the centre, so I don't know, I think it's pretty crap. Anyway, push that through and we'll get it jacked up and put the pins in. Same as before, we'll lube them up, put them in, and then yeah, we'll jack the axle back up and get it all aligned. Alright, so as you can see, got them all done up. Everything's back together, just rolled the ute out. As I said, we lowered it down on the ground, and then I've tightened up all the bolts, or the nuts, sorry. Yeah, you need to do it while the springs have load on them, because if you don't, you tighten them up and then lower it down, you'll tear the bushings. So they're all tightened up. See there. Looking much better than what it did before, taking all the gaps out of it so now the suspension shouldn't slop around so much, hopefully. Yeah, so that is finished. And there's the other side. Alright, so that's it for today. Finished that one. So that's pretty much how you do pins and bushes on a Landcruiser anyway, but same principles apply to whatever has a spring bush, leaf spring, sorry. And those sort of bushes. So thanks all for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.